The town of San Diego was alive with the sounds of laughter and music as the sun began to set in the sky, casting a warm glow over the plaza. Families gathered together, sharing food and stories, their spirits high after the long day's work. Children ran around playing games while adults engaged in lively conversations. Amid this joyful scene stood Crisostomo Ibarra, a young man recently returned from Europe, eager to reconnect with his roots. Ibarra had spent many years studying abroad, gaining knowledge and insight into societal structures and progress. He dreamt of bringing modern ideas back to his homeland, hoping to establish a school that would educate the youth of San Diego and empower them to change their future. But as he stood in the plaza, observing his fellow townspeople, a sense of anxiety gnawed at him. He was aware of the deep injustices that plagued their lives and couldn't shake the feeling that he had a great responsibility resting upon his shoulders. As Ibarra mingled with the townsfolk, he spotted his childhood friend, Elias, approaching. When they were young, they had shared countless adventures, but their paths took different turns as they grew older. Elias had faced hardships that had left scars on his spirit. He had been exposed to the darker side of life, the injustices that many endured every day. The two young men embraced warmly. "Ibarra! It is good to see you again after all these years," Elias exclaimed, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "I never thought I would return to find such familiarity among old friends." "Elias, it's been too long," Ibarra replied, smiles and nostalgia lighting up his face. "I've missed our discussions. Tell me, what has become of our town?" Elias's expression shifted slightly, revealing a hint of seriousness. "Much has changed, and yet much has stayed the same. The people are struggling. The Spanish authorities impose heavy taxes and regulations, and the church still holds great power. Some live in fear of those who are meant to protect them. Many are losing hope." Ibarra felt a wave of determination wash over him. He had returned to San Diego not only to reconnect with friends, but also to make a difference. "I can't stand by and watch our people suffer. I want to create a school to educate the children, to help them rise above the oppression we face. Education is the key to empowerment." Elias nodded, though a note of caution colored his enthusiasm. "Your heart is in the right place, my friend, but remember that change is met with resistance, especially from those in power. The local priest, Father Damaso, is particularly harsh. He sees education as a threat to his influence over the people." At the mention of Father Damaso, Ibarra felt tension creep into the atmosphere. Stories about the priest's volatile temper and oppressive nature were well known among the townsfolk. Damaso had a history of clashing with Ibarra's family, and the thought of facing him again filled Ibarra with unease. He remembered how his father had been a highly respected man who advocated for justice and education, but was silenced too soon. Ibarra chuckled softly. "I wasn't planning on making friends with Father Damaso, but I will not let fear dictate my actions. I will find ways to bring positivity and light, no matter the challenges." As they continued to converse, the sounds of fun and festivities echoed around them. Laughter erupted from a nearby group of villagers competing in a traditional dance, their faces glowing with happiness. The sight filled Ibarra's heart with a mixture of hope and sadness. He wanted to be part of this joy while also striving for a better future. Just then, two local store owners approached them, their faces marked by worry. "Ibarra, is it true you've returned to us?" one of them asked, a man named Don Juan. He looked tired, and his clothes were worn. "Yes, I am back," replied Ibarra, extending his hand to greet them. "What troubles you?" "It's the taxes, Ibarra. They increase every year. We work hard just to make ends meet, and the authorities take more than we can afford," Don Juan exclaimed, frustration lacing his voice. The other store owner, Don Pedro, chimed in. "We're worried about our families. Some have been driven to the edge, forced to sell their lands just to pay for what the authorities demand. We cannot continue like this." Ibarra's resolve grew stronger. "We need to unite as a community. If we speak as one, we can demand change. Education will be our foundation. I want to open a school, a place where our children can learn about their rights and how to stand up for themselves. The conversation swirled around him as laughter and music filled the air, but what Ibarra felt was a storm brewing within him. He could sense the struggles of his people, the silent cries for help. They had a powerful yearning for change. As the night deepened, Ibarra decided to leave the festivities for a while. He felt compelled to visit his father's grave, seeking guidance and inspiration. The cemetery lay near the edge of town, and as he walked, memories flooded his mind. Stories of his father's kindness, teachings about justice, and his aspirations for the future of San Diego. Upon reaching the grave, he knelt before the tombstone, running his fingers over the engravings. "Father, I have returned, but things are not what they should be. The world seems darker now than when you were here. I'm determined to follow your dreams, to build a future where our people can thrive. Please give me the strength to do what is right." Suddenly, he heard footsteps approaching. Startled, he turned to find Elias standing a few feet away, his eyes serious yet kind. "You are not alone in this fight, Ibarra," Elias assured him. "We are together in this struggle, and there are others who share your vision for change." "Elias, you scared me," Ibarra said, a smile breaking through his somber mood. "I was just seeking guidance from my father." Elias looked thoughtful. "I understand. Remember, he would want you to forge your own path, but you must tread lightly. You have your dreams, but the authorities won't welcome them." "I know, but I refuse to let them extinguish my flame," Ibarra replied with conviction. "We must awaken the people. They need to understand their power." "Your passion inspires me, my friend," Elias said, pacing back and forth. "But be cautious. Information carries weight. Father Damaso is no fool. He has eyes everywhere, and if he feels threatened, he can bring down the hammer on you." As Ibarra listened to Elias, he realized how valuable his input was. Elias had experienced the struggles of their people firsthand and knew how to navigate the pitfalls that lay ahead. "What do you suggest?" Ibarra asked, ready for advice. "Start small. Speak to the villagers, share your vision subtly, and gauge their reactions. Gather supporters who believe in your cause before making any bold announcements," Elias advised. "Who can I trust?" Ibarra questioned, his brow furrowing with concern. "Look for those who share your dream. The teachers, merchants, the youth. They have their own experiences of suffering. Chances are they wish for something more, just as you do," Elias encouraged. Together they mapped out a plan. Ibarra would begin with meetings in small, discreet groups, gradually building momentum. They discussed potential locations and ways to spread the word without drawing unwanted attention from the authorities. As they planned, Ibarra felt exhilarated. He could already envision the halls of a school filled with laughter and learning. Before parting, Elias reminded Ibarra, "Whatever happens, stay strong and committed to your dream. The winds of change may howl, but they cannot stop an unwavering heart." With renewed energy, Ibarra returned to the plaza. He joined the villagers, laughing and celebrating with them, appearing just another face among the jubilant crowd. But deep down, his mind was racing with thoughts of the future. The school he dreamed of, the hopes it would inspire, the transformation it would bring. As cheers erupted when a local band began playing a lively tune, Ibarra felt a sense of purpose wash over him. He glanced at Elias, who was blending in with the crowd, his face illuminated by the glow of the lanterns. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they were united in the struggle for a better San Diego. The heart of the town still beat strongly despite the shadows of the past hanging heavily over them. In that moment, Ibarra knew he was not just fighting for himself, but for every villager, every child who deserved a chance, and for the memory of his father, who had dreamed of equality and justice. And as the stars twinkled overhead, the night seemed brighter. Hope lingered in the air, and Ibarra felt ready to take on the world.